There is an emotion we often judge too quickly, one that erupts, raises its voice, cuts ties. We call it anger. But anger in its most intense form is rarely a primary emotion. More often, it's the tip of the emotional iceberg, what we see on the surface, while the true core of feeling remains hidden, forgotten, or more accurately, suppressed. In clinical psychology, anger is often seen as a secondary defense. It serves to mask more vulnerable emotions like pain, fear, shame, or sadness. For many people, appearing strong is more acceptable, socially and internally, than showing hurt. In this sense, anger becomes an emotional armor. It protects the self, manages helplessness, and keeps emotional closeness at bay when it feels too threatening. So let me introduce you to Luca. He's 42 and works in a field where showing vulnerability is often seen as a sign of weakness. He's sharp, composed, and always seems to be in control. However, there's a struggle he faces, particularly in his relationships. You see, every time he feels even slightly questioned, he tends to react with sarcasm, withdraws emotionally, or sometimes shows flashes of irritability. Now Luca doesn't shout, but his words can cut deep, leaving others feeling confused. Those around him often describe him as unpredictable and hard to read. And yet, behind these reactions, there's a deep emotional script at play. It's like peeling back the layers to reveal the ancient root of his anger. During introspective work, Luca begins to recall childhood scenes. There was a strict father who didn't tolerate mistakes, a distant mother who praised achievement but offered no comfort in failure, and, the silent but constant belief that he had to be perfect to be seen. As a child, Luca learned not to express pain. Instead, he replaced it with control, with performance. And honestly, when the pain became too much, he turned it into anger. It's crucial to understand that anger, in its original form, has an adaptive function. It protects boundaries, signals injustice, and fuels action. But when it becomes chronic, disproportionate, or automatic, it shifts from protection to dysfunction. In Luca's case, every minor criticism triggered an ancient belief system. If they question me, I'm not good enough. If I'm not good enough, I'll be abandoned. So I'll attack before I get hurt. Many people who experience persistent anger are carrying unprocessed emotional wounds, feeling invisible during childhood, being forced to grow up too soon, and being punished for expressing inconvenient emotions. These experiences create a defensive identity, strong on the outside but fragile within. So it's important to clarify that not all expressions of anger are unhealthy or problematic. Sometimes anger is actually legitimate, and honestly, even necessary. But when anger becomes the only emotional language available, when it covers every other feeling, it signals that something deeper can no longer be named. Change always begins with a question. What am I really feeling beneath this anger? This is where inner work starts. It, requires more than techniques. It actually requires emotional courage. The courage to see oneself not only in strength but also, in vulnerability. Over time, Luca learns to recognize that tightness in his chest as sadness, that tension in his stomach, as fear of rejection, and that need to always have the last word, as a deep longing to be heard. Anger is not the enemy. It is honestly a messenger. And like every messenger, its purpose is not to stay, but to lead us to deeper meaning. Beneath every emotional outburst, there is a story, a wound, a need. Recognizing this doesn't make us weak. It actually makes us whole. And for the first time, it allows us not to be slaves to our reactions, but conscious protagonists of our emotional world.